Hello, friends! This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever! Now, if you're watching this video at the same time it was originally posted, which is August 28th, 2024, and it's not, let's just say October 7th, 5685, and I'm not talking about the Hebrew calendar here, you may not know that this actually goes together with another video, which you really ought to see as well, which is the recent review of the Yannick Nézet-Séguin Sibelius 2 and 5 on Atma. Now, this is assuming, of course, that the sun hasn't become a red giant and burnt Earth to a crisp, or the ozone layer hasn't disappeared and we're not all dead from cosmic radiation. This is assuming that all this stuff is still available. So yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense. I know I'm rambling. The greatest recording ever of Sibelius' Second Symphony, because we just did the Nézet-Séguin, and so it makes sense to do the greatest recording ever of the same work that Nézet-Séguin tackles. And we all know what it is, because we've talked about it like a bazillion times. But I can't do this series without talking about the things that belong in the series, right? I mean, you have to. And it's this one. It's George Szell and the Cleveland Orchestra live in Tokyo, 1970. That unbelievable live concert recorded in very, very good sound by NHK Radio or television or whatever it was that broadcast the thing. And sort of, it's been around. It was in a Cleveland Orchestra box. It's in this thing. It was issued on Sony briefly. It's not in the Szell box, the big box. Shocking. Ridiculous because of licensing issues. It wasn't an original Sony Columbia recording. But anyway, the bottom line is it's like the most amazing Sibelius second ever, and it couldn't be more different from Nézet-Séguin, which is what makes this such a wonderful thing to do, because you can still, even with the greatest recording ever out there, there is still something to be said in a valid and powerful and compelling way in Sibelius' Second Symphony. And that was the point, actually, of doing this video on the same day. You can always go back, and if it's not the same day anymore, that's okay. Anyway, there is this one, and if you can't find it, there is this one with Szell and the Concerrtgebouw. It was originally on Philips. Now it's on Decca, if you can still find it there. But wow, baby, do me. I mean, this is the most unbelievable Sibelius Second Symphony. Everything about it is special and distinctive. Even the opening pulsation in the strings, bum 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 bum. It's actually written as with tenuti and things over the notes, and Szell makes it sound different from anybody else. It's I don't know how he does it. I mean, there's a rhythm to it, and an accent with. I mean, he makes them do. I don't know how it happens, and both performances too. It's astonishing, and not only is that astonishing, but when the woodwinds come in with their tune, they capture that same pulsation. And the whole thing just moves. It's incredible. It's a swift performance. I mean, it goes rather quickly. The finale is, wow. It's amazing. Let me just tell you. The finale here is, it's actually almost exactly the same tempo as Nézet-Séguin, who also has no dead spots in this recording. He's 14:25, and Szell in Tokyo is 14:18. That may be with applause. I don't know. But the concept is quite similar. That is, it moves. It's got to move, and it moves, and that's really, really the point. I mean, this live recording is made all the more poignant because Szell was already dying of terminal cancer. It was his last major concert. He did something like in Fairbanks, Alaska, on the way home. Then he went back to Cleveland. Then he checked into the hospital, and a few weeks later, he was gone. So, it was historical for reasons that have nothing to do with music. But thank God, musically, it is the most wonderful representation of his art, because so many live recordings, people say, oh, well, they're more exciting than the studio versions. And, there are things here that you could argue make it better than this one with the Concerrtgebouw. But this one is so astonishingly great that you can't criticize it, number one. And number two, this is one live recording where it doesn't suffer from any of the usual issues of being live. That is, the playing of the orchestra is just as astonishing as in the studio version, and the audience is deathly quiet, and it's just perfect. It's one of those, someone asked me, if I would talk about what it makes the perfect symphony, which I can't do because, how do you define perfection? It doesn't mean anything to me anyway. But the performance, well, that's another matter. That's another matter. And so this is one of the iterations of that performance. And the other one, as I said, is on Decca, and you can get either of them. And you will still have one of the greatest recordings ever. Hands down, really, seriously. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.